Such a long time since we
last done anything.
last uploaded a video for you, and we do have a couple of videos from over the summer that we can upload for you, but first things first, we have something a little more important to show you. As you may have noticed, Melanie no longer has her bump.
No, thankfully. So today we're going to do first story and introduce you to my little boy.
He's not so little.
Yeah, no, he really isn't actually that little. He was quite big. And he's nearly 6 weeks old already. So over the summer holidays, I've had 3 children to look after, which is really, really odd.
Bit fun.
Yeah, it's quite actually handy. It was over the summer holidays and not on the school runs, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yes, so I'll talk a bit about my birth story and what actually happened, and how Charlie is doing with his heart condition as well. So I thought...
You have to tell them his name, like his full name first. Because
so it's Charlie David Ferdani, we named him. He is absolutely gorgeous. He looks a bit of his elder sister and a bit of his daddy. Yeah, it's quite scary actually picking him up. I kind of go, oh my god, like your dad.
Picking up a little mini Mel's husband.
Yeah, he really is. It's scary. So I a couple of weeks before, which we've got a video of actually as well, before I was due, I had an amazing surprise baby shower, which I was lucky enough to have. It was absolutely wonderful. Annalise and my friend Kirsty arranged it, and it was brilliant. And I honestly thought I was going to go that night. I was thinking, right, this is...
She was hoping.
Yeah, I really was. I got so fed up because it was 2 weeks before I was due.
I think so.
2 weeks or 3 weeks before I was due?
2 or 3 weeks, because we tried to plan it so that you wouldn't have already gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's probably alright.
Yeah, so I was really thinking maybe this is going to be the night. I really, really wanted to get him out. I was getting so fed up. I was so big and felt so... Did you have the waddle? Yeah, I had the waddle from day one. But also I was getting so lethargic and tired all the time. I'd really hit me by then. I just wanted to sleep. I really didn't feel brilliant towards the end of it.
You were a tad bit moody.
Yeah, I may have got snappy towards the end as well.
Just a little. And
a little bit like, I need the house tidy. Because I was getting a bit nesty time as well. So
you were uncomfortable and in pain though, weren't you, as well? So
yeah, horrendously in pain. So eventually I was going to my doctor's appointment, midwife appointments, and went there at my, can't remember what actually stage it was, 38-week appointment, and I was supposedly quite ready to go. I had even had my cervix dilated enough, and it just didn't happen. It really didn't happen. And Winter's starting to say hi.
Winter's joining in. She's watching us talk to you.
It's quite strange.
Rather than being here with us. But she's happy. She's just joining in the conversation. Yeah. So just ignore her babbles, or enjoy them if you like baby babbles. We'll continue.
So yeah, so I was kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to go soon, and actually ended up getting to my appointment with my doctor at the hospital for fetal medicine, which was a scan. And on that day I was actually 40 plus 2, so like the others I went overdue, which I was not happy. Are you joining in?
And now she's eating her blanket.
Oh, that's so nice.
We'll get you in for the next one.
Yeah, definitely. So I went overdue like I did with all the others, and was totally fed up. At this stage I just wanted the end of the pregnancy to come, because I just needed to get him out by that stage. When I was scanned,
yeah, you carry on.
When I was scanned, the doctor's face was quite funny, because if they were scanning him and they measured, at one point, he measured £10.6.
Ouch.
And I really freaked out at that point and said to my husband, oh my God, whatever has happened here, he's like massive. Rescanned again. Yeah, rescanned again, and he came up at £9.6 on the scanner. And they said obviously this could be either side as well, so it's £1 either side. So it's not like a definite this is what he's going to be.
So it could have been £8.6 or it could have been £10.6.
Yeah, which I was scared, absolutely scared. The doctor's face was quite shocked, and he basically said to me, I need you in either today or tomorrow for a induction, which I would have been induced anyway by the end of that week, because they didn't want me going past 41. So I freaked out and was really scared, because if they told me that there's a possibility of him getting shoulder dystocia, and that obviously what they would have to do, I'd also been watching like One Born Every Minute, so I've seen that actually happen, and I was freaking out. I was also freaking out from the last pregnancy and birth that I had with my daughter, hemorrhaging, and I was freaking out about that even more so, freaking out about his heart condition and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be induced. So at that stage I was absolutely in horrendous kind of, I didn't know what to do. So they found out that they needed to wait till the following day, so I went in on so I'd have been 40 plus 3. In the morning at 9 o'clock I went in and had to wait there for a little while. Because it was quite busy on the ward, well, on the delivery suite. And eventually I was then hooked up to be monitored. They then had checked me and said that they can actually naturally break my waters without having to basically put anything in there. So, hello. And I had my waters broken at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No, sorry, at 12 o'clock. No, 2 o'clock in the afternoon I had it done, and they wanted to leave me 4 hours before they then gave me anything like a hormone drip to see if I went naturally into labour. Because if I was so stressed and my anxiety and panic attacks were really playing a part in it, I wasn't relaxed enough. I basically stopped my own natural way of going into labour. And they kept saying to me, you need to relax, otherwise you're not going to go into labour.
Which is easier said than done.
Yeah, especially when your heart rate's going on the monitor and you then realise actually it's playing a lot of problems with my baby's heart rate. I was going up at 120, I even saw it up 150, and that's my anxiety that had caused that to happen. So obviously that was quite scary at some points as well, unfortunately, and eventually they kind of was like, right, this is not happening naturally, we're going to put you on a hormone drip. Oh,
pardon you.
That came out nicely, didn't it? So I went on a hormone drip, and it increased to about 16 milligrams that they put into me until I was ready to push. I kept saying to them, I'm ready to push. They kept saying to me, no, you're not. I ended up finding out, actually, I screamed at my sister to take my trousers off because if I was still having my trousers on at the time. And the midwife was like, no, you're not ready. And I was like, no, I am. I think I even swore at that point, which I apologise. I was really, she checked me and she realised that I was 10 centimetres dilated, ready to push. I was pushing, I was really pushing for a long time, to the point of my husband thought I was going to rip the mattress on the bed. I even had a cannula already put in my hand because of obviously the last time I hemorrhaged, there was a protocol anyway before we knew anything was going on with the baby. That I would have a drip put in because of, just in case that happened again, they could do it straight away rather than waiting any longer. So I'd actually, because if I was so in labour and in pain, I'd ripped my cannula out at that one point. Didn't even know. I'd only had gas and air, and at the stage of transition where the baby comes round, which took a long time, I honestly thought I was going to end up having him stuck, because if I kept feeling him going back in, So it was like,
hurt.
Yeah, that really did.
I think transition was the most painful bit for me.
Yeah.
Because I'd been told that the most painful bit was when their head comes out. I had no idea that her head was out. It was that bit.
It was the bit that turns round the
painful.
corner, and unfortunately he was just playing peekaboo, and the midwife could even see him doing that. So it was quite a long time, and I was thinking, because of his size that they'd estimated him being, whether it was actually going to ever happen, or whether they were going to either get me into C-section, because they said they would have a low threshold of a C-section, even though I really wouldn't have wanted one. I did, however, manage eventually to push, and as I did, I ended up turning, because I was on all fours. I turned around, and I didn't realise he was back to back at the time as well, and that's why I was having even more issues.
So that's more painful, isn't it?
Yeah. And when he turned, his head actually turned, and he was looking at the midwife while it was turning, and as I turned, and the midwife said that was something she'd never seen before happen, which was quite funny. And eventually I did push him out, and I was really surprised. So that really was quite amazing, because I honestly really had thought he was going to get stuck. They did give him to me, which was really nice, because I actually did get like a quick cuddle. But it was very short-lived, unfortunately, because I started hemorrhaging as soon as my placenta was out. A lot more than I did with my previous daughter, the last daughter that I had, and it was horrendous, unfortunately. They did stop it. They had to put a load of cannulas back in, because obviously I ripped one out, and it was very traumatic. And that's why, like, it's taken me till now really to be quite with it. I hemorrhaged, and my sister had been given Charlie after everything was sorted, and also what had happened is Charlie decided he was starting to grunt a lot, so he had to be taken to NICU as well. So for 4 hours he was gone, and I was being looked after by the midwives and the doctors. I had so many doctors come in. It was almost like they were on standby and waiting to come in, because they knew I had paediatricians that were waiting.
They knew that you might have had problems, didn't they? So, and they were very good about it, weren't they?
They were absolutely amazing. Our NHS is amazing. I can't thank the staff enough at Norfolk and Norwich for doing everything they did for me, especially the fact of how lovely they were when I was going through my panic attacks and anxiety attacks. I even had a nurse sit with me and feed Charlie. She was absolutely amazing, and just sort of like even giving me cuddles, just because of, like, my husband had to go and sort out our daughters and sort out other people to look at. I had so many amazing friends looking after my family. It was really lovely, because of obviously I was in hospital a lot longer than I imagined. But because of obviously the hemorrhage, I did have to have a blood transfusion in the end, which I never did with my daughter, and that was quite different and quite weird as well. I'd never thought I'd need to have that done, but obviously I'd had a blood test done the next day. I think it was the day after, maybe the next day, and my bloods had actually gone down so far. They were worried that there was something else going on as well, so I had to have scans and everything. So my anxiety level was like up here. Luckily nothing else happened, and they did give me a course of antibiotics while I was in, because of obviously the hemorrhage, and because of I got sepsis when I was had my daughter. Like literally the day after I had my daughter, I ended up going back in.
Like me.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? So they gave me a course of antibiotics to prevent that happening. I spent 4 days in hospital. Eventually came out on the Saturday night. I had him on the Wednesday, in pretty much near enough Thursday morning. And yeah, it took me a long time to get back to normal, I must admit. Just because of my levels of my blood had dipped so low that they were about 5.7, and they they were at 8.9, so they'd gone quite low down, and they think that some of my anxiety was actually caused by, basically the palpitations might have been caused by the blood loss. So that's why I felt quite poorly, and that's what it's taken me till about now to feel a little bit normal and not the headaches and the dizziness so much, and obviously getting used to being a mother again and sleepless nights, although he's absolutely amazing. It's not actually that bad at waking up either. He has had a few nights of actually sleeping through. So
wow.
So yes, it's quite. I'm quite lucky.
You want to take note, Winter?
But Charlie did go obviously into NICU for 4 hours and was put on antibiotics because they worried that he may have had contracted sepsis. Luckily there was no problems with him, and he was then discharged with me. We also had all his heart scans because of obviously his heart problem, which is congenitally corrected transposition. Luckily all the things came back that he was okay. Obviously not okay, but okay.
And to look at him, he would look like a perfect little newborn baby.
Yeah.
Well, he is perfect, but you'd never know that he had a heart condition at all. And he's not needing any special attention or like treatments or anything. He's just amazing.
I was so anxious and worried that something was going to happen, or I may not be able to take my baby home at all. It really, it freaked me out. And I was trying to hold it back, and I think my sister realised that I was kind of not quite getting to that happy stage towards the end of, thinking, oh, I'm going to meet my baby, because I think I was thinking the worst.
Yeah, you were so worried about what was going to happen.
Yeah, but he came out £9 too. Yeah, that did hurt. And yes, I did have a huge amount of stitches. So he was obviously thriving in there. He really, really was. And he is still thriving. Last week I got him weighed and he was £10.8. So it was quite a shock compared to my daughters, which was 7.14. It was quite a shock because they were like this at about 3 weeks, 3 months stage, and he's like this at near enough just a month and a half. It's quite scary and really does my arm in. But his scans were brilliant, and I honestly thought they'd send me home with a manual of this is how you look after a baby with this condition.
I think they kind of should.
But no, I just treat him like a normal little baby newborn. It's just, he's
Come on, Melly.
Yeah.
They want to see him.
Right, he's actually staring.
He's
so
awake.
It's
the
quite a good idea.
moment you have been waiting for.
Right, let's pick him up. He's probably going to end up wanting a feed soon. So this is Charlie, and as you can see, he's quite big.
The newest member of Mummy Mayhem.
Yeah.
And Winter's future husband. A little toy boy.
Yeah, it's going to be a little toy. It's going to be quite strange because of Winter's nearly 1, and
yeah, she's 1 next month, but they'll be in the same year at school.
Yeah, it's quite strange to think of how newborn, like how much age gap there is, that they're going to be in the same classes, maybe even.
Gently, gently, can't pat.
So yes, this is Charlie. If you can see. Hello. Someone's probably going to cry soon. He is so, yeah. So I swear he's probably put on another pound already. He's doing so well. There we go. He's starting to cry now. He's doing so well. He's amazing. We've just obviously been told what we need to look out for just in case there is any issues. But honestly, I just can't. It's almost like I don't think he has any issues. It's really odd because obviously, I mean, you think there'd be some more things there, sort of thing, but there's not.
You just wouldn't know, would
no
you? Unless you've got x-ray vision.
Yeah, absolutely.
But from how he is, I don't think it's not going to affect his day-to-day life, is it, at all, really?
No, they don't. It's hard to tell. We don't know if there's going to be any issues at all, because if some people have nothing and don't find out anything was wrong with them until like a post-mortem's done on them. Some people have issues when they're born. I mean, they found a slight narrowing, as you can see, he's pulling my hair. There was a slight narrowing of one of the arteries which they hadn't picked up beforehand. Thank you. This is what I'm getting already. I'm just going to find a dummy note. No, that's fine, he's alright. So that was obviously something they hadn't picked up before, but they then said that, because basically they had to take 100 scans, send them off via email to Gosh, and basically wait for a protocol to come back of what they needed to do with Charlie, but nothing, they basically said there's nothing, we'll just see how it goes. And this is what I'm doing. Just every day is a new day, every day he's thriving and
he's doing
amazing.
Great. And so's Mel. Mel's like a skinny mini again already and looks absolutely awesome.
It's makeup, it does wonders.
No, but you're like all
Absolutely.
of you, just like, and she's up and about and doing everything. And like, I'm pretty sure at this stage of winter, I was still like in my pajamas every day with my hair up here and like.
Yeah, but you had a cesarean. I felt like I needed a cesarean after what you came out as. But no, it did take me a few weeks to get back to because I was suffering so much with obviously the blood loss as well, because they did say that I could feel dizzy and headachy, and you know, it would take me a couple of months to kind of get to a normal level. You had to have the
blood thinning injections.
Oh yeah, didn't you? I done them myself as well. I think because
Mel did mine for me. I had to have, how many weeks did I had to have 6 weeks of them.
Yeah, I only had 10 days, and they'd done 4 days of that in the hospital.
Yeah, Mel did my injections for me because I cannot self-inject.
Yeah.
And even Mel didn't like injecting me.
No, she's so skinny, there was nowhere to actually do it. Whereas on me, there was so much flubber, it was easy.
Oh, it still hurts.
No, but yeah, it still stung like anything. But it was like once they're in, and it sometimes felt like a little bit of a blunt needle.
Yeah, they were. Some of them are, aren't they? Evil.
But I must admit, I didn't think I'd be at this stage where I am now. I hoped I was. I hoped by like a week that I felt much better, and it took me a few weeks.
I think we always overestimate ourselves and think that when it comes to things like that, we'll be like, oh yeah, we'll be fine in a few days, I'll have my makeup on and I'll be back in my jeans and I can do this and do that.
I want to fit in my pre-pregnancy jeans and things like that, and actually I was in my pre-pregnancy jeans when I got home, which I never thought I was. I think because he was so big. It was just him.
As soon as he was out, it was fine.
Yeah, I was surprised of how little I looked when he came out. I'm still a lot bigger than I obviously look, but it's so funny. It was quite funny. But yeah, so I did have obviously a few ups and downs, and obviously because of my anxiety came back horrendously. I did end up going back on some tablets to help with that because of we
could actually go through that in another one, couldn't we? And come sort of.
Yeah, because because obviously I was worried about postnatal again and things like that because of obviously his condition, the traumatic birth and things like that. But no, I'm doing really well. I'm actually amazing myself some days, especially with 3 kids and doing the school runs as well. And actually getting out with makeup on. Yeah. My hair may not look amazing, but I have makeup on and I am dressed, and the kids are pretty much at school near enough on time. See, my baby's nearly a year and I never have makeup on the school run. No, she does it around mine instead. So yeah, so this is our introduction. This is Charlie. We shall leave you to it now, and we'll see you in the next one. Yeah. Bye. Bye.